The Price is Right. Raise their prices will not be seen at this time in order that we may bring you the following program we've managed to rip off.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clarke.
Des Clarke, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. This week I'm joined by four brilliant comics. On my right we have Jamie McDonald and Tatty McLeod, and facing them are Rory Bremner and Marjolaine Robertson. In the news this week, Neighbours legend Harold Bishop is to return to the soap after a gap of 15 years. At one time the character famously went missing, only to be found after he stepped off a massive boat with severe memory loss, in a storyline based on the life of Michelle Mone. A television advert in which Italian nuns are offered crisps instead of communion wafers has provoked the fury of conservative Catholics. It was said to be an unrealistic representation of religious ceremony, especially the part where the nuns were slide tackled by Gary Lineker. And Rishi Sunak suffered an embarrassing moment during a live radio phone-in when he mixed up a caller's name with their hometown. He had to be corrected after referring to Louise from the Rhondda Valley in Wales as Rhonda. Although worse was to follow when the next caller was from Ecclefechan. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Jamie and Tatty, can you tell me what this is all about?
The European Union's Climate Change Service says last month was the hottest March
on ScotRail trains.
It's the 10th month in a row that a new
alcohol
record has been set.
Passengers
are even more dramatic.
But is there any harm in it?
Well, there we go. Loads going on this week. An intake of breath from you, Jamie. What do you think our first story is?
Well, 8 will be great, 9 will be fine, but it's going to be 10 in a row for hottest months.
Bang on, yes. Well done, I'll give you that, Jamie. Yes, figures from the European Union's Climate Change Service, Copernicus, show that last month was the hottest March ever recorded. This comes in the week that a group of Swiss women have won the first ever climate case victory in the European Court of Human Rights. The court said Switzerland's efforts to meet its emission reduction targets had been woefully inadequate. It truly is a landmark ruling, as for the first time ever, some old people are complaining that they're too hot. Oh, well done in giving us the right answer, Jamie. Good on you. So, how concerned are you then about climate change and the changing climate?
It's just join the queue, isn't it? Like, I'm concerned about everything now. It's like NHS is down, the war's down. I'm now concerned to flush the toilet in case I meet him again in the beach.
One of the best images that's ever been painted in this show.
Back in the queue.
Back in the queue. Oh, worry after worry. Tatty, what do you think then? How concerned are you about the changing climate?
Honestly, as someone who has spent her last 6 Augusts in Edinburgh, not very.
I'm incredibly concerned. Like, I'm so concerned that it worries me to the point where this isn't a laughing matter. But you've asked me to write some jokes about it, so here I go. As things warm up, Greenland's going to melt. That meltwater's going to rush into the North Atlantic, destroy the North Atlantic current, and we're not going to get that warm drift of water anymore, and we're going to be plummeted into ice age conditions in Scotland. And I'm like, good, so hopefully they'll sell the holiday homes for a slightly affordable rate. We can buy homes in our own villages again.
There's always an upside.
Always an upside.
You can always find it. Rory, what do you think then? Are you concerned about the changing climate?
Yeah, well, it's affecting us more and more. I came up on the train yesterday and we had to get out at Newcastle and take a replacement boat service.
What do you think think then about the other element to this story, Jamie, about the climate court case in Switzerland, where the Swiss women successfully sued the government there?
Absolute game changer for me anyway, because it was the ladies, because of their age and gender in Switzerland, said it was now in the heat waves, it was too hot and the government hadn't done enough to mitigate that. And because of my gender and disability, I can't go out when it's icy. So we're starting proceedings against Jack Frost.
The problem with global warming is that it's going to get good before it gets bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna feel so good, but you know it's bad. You know, when you're having barbecues in November, like, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. You're gonna look at yourself, you're gonna be like, I'm having tinnies in the park after work, I'm wearing a summer dress, and get into your flat, you've got like a little bit of freckles on the cheek, you've got a nice little tan, you're a bit drunk from the ciders, and you look at yourself and you think, this is the face of the apocalypse. It doesn't make sense.
Sounds great, though.
It sounds great.
You don't even get that in July.
Exactly.
Well, what do you think, Marjolaine? There you go. You're in charge of things. How do you go about tackling climate change?
I think we can make lots of personal changes, and we should try, but it's really going to be tackled by the big boys, the governments. However, we can keep up with the changes and arm ourselves through the knowledge of folkloric sayings. We just need to update these to fit the new temperatures and world we're living in. You know, like they used to say, "Ne'er cast a cloak till May is out." Nooch be, March is that warm, wearing clays will do you more harm.
I love that, Marjolaine. Rory, final thoughts to you on this one. How would you personally tackle climate change?
I think because the government can do more, because obviously, because the Conservatives, they've recycled David Cameron. Now back in the cabinet, George Galloway has recycled himself 3 times as a Labour MP. A respect MP, even if you do not respect me, Des, as a lickspittle for the establishment BBC. And once for the Workers' Party of Great Britain. Oh, and as a cat.
And there we have it. Climate change dealt with, sorted. Don't need to worry about that. We can all move on. Now to you, Rory and Marjolaine. What was the other story we were after?
It's about lifting the ban on alcohol on ScotRail trains.
Oh, well done. Well spotted. That's the right answer. Yes, 56% of ScotRail passengers want the alcohol ban to end, according to the firm's own survey. Despite telling MSPs last month the split was 50-50. ScotRail bosses have apologised for getting the figures wrong, adding, "To be fair, pal, I was half cut." What do you think about that then, Rory? What's your thoughts on this? Do you agree with passengers? Should the ban be lifted?
I'm confused. Did you say? I thought it wasn't the passengers. I thought it was the drivers that wanted it lifted. Is that not the thing? So I'm not taking the 724 to Falkirk unless I'm steaming.
Tati, what do you think about the survey? Do you agree with the passengers? Should the ban be lifted?
Well, I was kind of confused by it because, you know, I have taken the 11:45 p.m. train from Edinburgh to Glasgow on a Friday night, and I wasn't aware there was a ban.
But I remember, this is true, this is perhaps before the ban came in. Berwick Station, I was taking a train about 8 o'clock in the morning, and 2 women came in, and they went to the lady and said, "Can we have two gin and tonics then?" And the lady said, "I can't serve those before 10 o'clock. And they stormed out, they said, "What's this country coming to?" I've just never understood this. You know, you go to the airport and you get there for like the 7:20 in the morning, and there's people sitting there at 6:30 in the morning with a huge table of beers. You know,
Yeah.
that's the pilots. But I know, what is that about? And then if you say, "Why are you drinking beer at 6:30 in the morning?" "We're on holiday." Does that make a difference? You know, you're going to lose the rest of the day.
Guilty.
Never.
100%.
So, Marjolaine, what about you then? Obviously, there is an issue, and everyone that uses the rail services knows that we've got a few problems. What, Marjolaine, would you do to improve British railway journeys?
I would fix the one problem that I think is abhorrent in the Scottish railway system.
And that is?
When you're trying to get the old 45-minute train from Glasgow to Edinburgh, You sit down on the train being like, I'll be there in less than an hour. And then a voice comes on the tannoy being like, welcome to the long journey between Glasgow and Edinburgh Waverley. Today we'll be stopping at, and announces every town in Scotland you've never heard of. Going right through to Cambuslang, to Uddingston, Bells Hill, Holytown, back to Bells Hill, back to Holytown, Dumfries, Gretna Green, Newcastle, Chessington World of Adventures, Dover, Calais, Istanbul, Constantinople, Byzantium, Rohan, Mordor, Edinburgh Haymarket, Edinburgh Waverley.
Jamie, what about you? If you had the power to improve British railway journeys, what would you do?
Oh, I'd take it back to kind of pre-Al Qaeda times.
Okay.
Didn't expect that.
Stick with me here, because this is when you could get dropped off, like near or inside a station. But since then, right, you can't get dropped off anywhere close. Like in Queen Street now, any kind of ill person, disabled person, old person, we're parked miles away, and we've got to get our own way. I think, like at peak times, I mean, George Square will look like there's been a fire alarm at a hospital.
And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, former BBC journalist Bill Whiteford and Scots poet and author Len Penny. So, Rory and Marjolaine, what do you think Bill is on about here?
Well, I remember the last time this happened, I was in the BBC Scotland newsroom. What we were doing was making little card things. It was for this big event. Everybody was all keyed up for it. It was like in the middle of the day. As it turned out, it was pretty rubbish.
Yeah, I think, is it the solar eclipse we're talking?
Yeah, bang on, that's the right answer. It is indeed the story that North America was treated to a total solar eclipse on Monday, plunging it into darkness during the daytime. Most of the UK missed out on a chance to see a partial eclipse due to cloud cover, but clear skies in northern and western Scotland meant some could see the moon obscure part of the sun. The next total eclipse visible from the UK will not be until the year 2090, which is going to be a shame as it's going to spoil the view of them launching the third Calmac ferry. What do you think then? Were you excited about the eclipse?
Very excited. Eclipses are a very exciting time for us spiritually. And we're in the middle of eclipse season because we had a lunar eclipse just a few days ago, now in a solar eclipse, and all during a Mercury retrograde, which means that's a very good time for shedding things that no longer serve us. It's not a good time for manifesting, don't get confused. And I like to do a lot of preparation and a lot of different kind of spiritual advances in this time to help with this moment of change. And I love it. I'll tell you who doesn't love it, the tourist I've prepared for sacrifice. If I could take 1 second out of your day and tell you, you should visit Shetland because we need more willing souls.
Love that. Jamie, what about you? Were you excited about the eclipse?
I have a guess.
I am aware. For those who don't know Jamie, I am aware that I have asked the premier blind comedian in the UK that question. However,
I'm more of an earthquake guy.
Is that everyone got together. People got so excited about this eclipse. People got together, we're watching it, oh my God, it's amazing. All the scientists talk about it, it's on national news. When there's a full moon and I dance naked on Arthur's seat, I get arrested. What's that about?
yeah. But listen, it's all part of this, looking to the skies. Rory, what is it about space that fascinates us so much?
I think the fact that we can park there.
It was such a big event, especially in America. More than 300 couples in Arkansas got married simultaneously as the eclipse occurred. And when daylight returned, only a handful found out they'd married the wrong cousin.
Easier than you think.
Well done. A total eclipse of the sun is indeed the right answer. Congratulations, right answer from Rory and Marjolaine there. Now to you, Jamie and Tatty, it's your turn. What do you think Len is talking about here?
Very bold of them to assert that we should take any kind of direction from 250 years ago, considering women couldn't vote back then. When I eat dinner, my elbows are exactly where they should be, which is resting on the arm of the couch. So what might be considered really polite to someone can be the height of rudeness for someone else.
Something to do with table manners and young people.
That's brilliant. Well picked out. That's the right answer. A new survey suggests that many of Gen Z think traditional table etiquette is no longer relevant. It found that 3/4 were unfussed by elbows on tables, and a third admitted answering calls and texts whilst out for a meal. Do you think table manners are still relevant?
I was in Paris last week. I go to Paris a lot. Sorry, I'm better than you. And was what I was getting at. Sorry, did that come across? And I was at the British Embassy, and I was sat next to, you might have heard of him, it's not a big deal, Hugh Grant.
Oh, you've stepped up this week.
And I sat there, and they had 4 forks and 4 knives. And I thought to myself, these can't all be to use to eat. Like, how does this work? And then I realised that, yes, some of them were to use to eat food with, and the others were there in case you get so bored you want to kill yourself.
Well, you were sitting next to Hugh Grant, so you could have had 4 weddings and a funeral.
That.
There we go. Marjolaine, do you think table manners are still relevant?
Who uses a table? I think there's too many rules, and they always had this horrible, like, colonial air to them. Like in Shetland, what you traditionally did was the meal was made in one pot over the fire. It was served in a truncheon, which is a large dish that everyone would eat from at the same time, and you'd use bread to mop it up rather than your forks and knives. And this is how we did things right up until 1972.
What do you think then about Gen Z? They're being blamed for all of this. Do we give Gen Z or Gen Z, do we give them a hard time?
No, because the thing is, I actually think that we've given all younger generations a hard time. The difference is now is that we hear them more talking about it. You know, back in my day, you get given a hard time, you go and write about it on MySpace and no one would read it. Now you get given a hard time, you know, they're filming themselves and then they're on Lorraine and they're talking about being discriminated against for having their elbows on the table. Next thing you know, they got a book deal.
Do we give Gen Z a bad time?
I think we do, but I think they give us a hard time back. You know, they say we've ruined the planet for them, and they think they've got all the right answers, and maybe they do, but I just don't like being lectured at by a kind of up himself man-child puffing on a pineapple and rusk vape.
Do you remember that Monty Python, the Yorkshire sketch, where I said, I used to have to get up at 5 in the morning, I had to walk 50 miles, and I'd have a lump of coal to eat. So Gen Z, that would be the other way around. But he said, you know, I used to leave work at 4:30 on the dot, no matter what needed doing. You were unlucky. I'd knock off at lunchtime, have an Aperol spritz, spend a couple of hours on my socials, then watch Netflix. Oh, really? You had it so tough. I left work before I even got there, went back to bed and played Candy Crush and ordered a Domino's.
Yes, young people challenging dinner table etiquette is the right answer. 2 points go to Jamie and Tatty. You're listening to Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clarke. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Jamie and Tatty, you're first this time. Who is this?
I think to some degree I was born this way, but even in happy moments when I was a kid, it just feels like there's just a rage of forces in my mind constantly.
Is that Elon Musk?
Yes, well done, Jamie. Right answer. Of course, that is Elon Musk. Musk has predicted that artificial intelligence will be smarter than the cleverest human within 2 years. The chief executive of Tesla said the milestone could be reached as long as the supply of electricity and advanced chips could meet the demands for training and technology. What do you think then, Jamie? Do you think Elon Musk is right?
Probably. I mean, it's the cleverest guy next year. I mean, it's outstripped me now. Yeah. But who is the cleverest guy? And is there going to be a test? AI is not going to win on everything. It might win at chess.
Yeah.
But, you know, high fives.
I bought his Starlink last week, which is a satellite that picks up the internet that is invented by Tesla. And the reason I bought it is my mum lives in the middle of nowhere and she can't get internet. And I bought this thing and I've never hated something more. And you know why? Because it's bloody good. Bloody good. And I wanted it. And you know, it's like that really awful thing when you know a guy is such a bad person, but he's so good in bed. And, you know, it's that.
I don't think he's right about this thing. AI is going to be more intelligent than us. Because I don't know if you're aware of the phenomenon called dead internet. No. What's happening is AI is creating images, but because there's so many bots now on the internet with fake human profiles, they're going to these images and going, yes, that's exactly what a human looks like. So AI is thinking, okay, I've got this right. So AI is making more and more abstract pictures of humans with like 7 arms that live underwater, and all the bots are like, yes, that is my father.
You could do a lot of high fives with 7 arms.
Rory, do you think Elon Musk is right?
Well, judging from his Twitter feed, he's quite far right. Thank you, I'm here all week. Did you know that ChatGPT hallucinates? Have you heard this? This is a thing. But yeah, somebody said, what's the world record for crossing the English Channel entirely on foot? And ChatGPT says, the world record for crossing the English Channel entirely on foot is held by Christoph van Ratsch of Germany, who completed the crossing in 14 hours and 51 minutes on August the 14th, 2020. What? There you go.
So they... No!
No, that can't be right, because that was lockdown.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Do you think Nigel Farage has heard this and started freaking out?
No.
Walking over!
It's bad enough that they're coming by boats. If they start walking, we're really in trouble.
Yes, well done. 2 points go to Jamie and Tati. That was, of course, Elon Musk. Right, Rory and Marie-Elaine, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
You have to live authentically to have something to draw from. How do you empathize with people's experiences when you don't have any of your own?
Is it Renee Zellweger being Bridget Jones again?
Brilliant shout, great answer, and of course you're correct. Renee Zellweger is set to reprise her Oscar-nominated role as Bridget Jones in a 4th movie in the series, Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. Set for release on Valentine's Day next year, the much-anticipated sequel will also see Emma Thompson and Hugh Grant return to the series. I wonder if anybody in the panel's met Hugh Grant. Could ask him about it. Yeah. What do you think then? We heard from Renee Zellweger, Marie-Elaine. Are you surprised to see Renee return for a 4th Bridget Jones film?
We keep seeing this now in Hollywood. You keep getting these franchises made of films. Like, how many Star Wars films do we have? Star Wars film after Star Wars film, or Fast and the Furious film after Fast and the Furious film. So am I surprised that we have a 4th film about a woman in her 50s? I am.
Tati, what about you? Are you surprised to see Renee Zellweger return for a 4th Bridget Jones film?
Obviously not. Hugh told me all about it the other week.
Jamie, are you up for this then? Are you surprised, Jamie, to see Renee Zellweger return for a 4th Bridget Jones film?
Did she play them in the first 3?
Well, also, she wouldn't have a diary now, would she? I mean, she'd have a blog or a WhatsApp group or a podcast. You know, I mean, even just saying that, you just know that's going to happen, isn't it?
Last night, I was like, how would you modernize a film for this day and age? I'm like, oh, of course, you'd get AI to write it. So I asked AI to rewrite the original Bridget Jones diary, and this is how it starts. Interior, dairy farm, milking parlour, day. Bridge Jones, a passionate dairy farmer in his mid-40s, meticulously tends to his cows. He wears a weathered hat and a warm smile as he works. Bridge Jones says cheerfully, "All right, girls, time for your morning milking." The cow slows softly in response as Bridge Jones begins the milking process. It was only after this did I realise I misspelt Bridget Jones's diary as Bridge Jones'
The sequel is Bridge Jones, The Edge of Frisian.
Well done. Renee Zellweger is the right answer, and 2 points go to Rory and Marie-Elaine. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Sausage roll, double cheeseburger, pizza, ice cream.
That is Russ Cook there, who finished running the length of Africa this week for charity, sampling what's known in Scotland as a healthy buffet. Right, let's do it, teams. Fingers and buzzers, and off we go. Edinburgh is celebrating 900 years of what? Jamie.
Making that rank rock that tastes like Gaviscon.
Brave to say that in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is celebrating 900 years of what? Marie-Elaine.
work on the Edinburgh tram.
Edinburgh is celebrating 900 years of what? Tatty.
Winter.
Edinburgh is celebrating 900 years of what? Rory.
Thinking, well, at least we're not Glasgow.
Edinburgh is celebrating 900 years of what? Rory.
St. Giles Cathedral.
That's the right answer. Well done.
Sausage roll, double cheeseburger, pizza, ice cream.
Oh, there we go. That's our klaxon. Russ has cooked. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Rory Bremner and Marie-Elaine Robertson. And just pipped to the post, commiserations to Jamie McDonald and Tatty McLeod. And we'll leave you with the breaking the news. Breaking news just in. A modern art gallery in Germany has fired an employee after discovering the budding artist had hung his own work in an exhibition. The worker argued that in displaying his own art, he'd used initiative, but his bosses said he actually used a drill and 2 screws. A distillery in Solway has produced the first Scottish tequila, but lawyers have advised they can't call it that because it isn't made in Mexico. The Scottish creators are facing a separate legal battle over the proposed name. I can't believe it's no tequila. And new tours of Balmoral Castle, which allow people to see parts of the royal family's private home for the first time, have sold out in a day. The tours in July and August cost £150 with afternoon tea. When staff at Edinburgh Castle heard what Balmoral is charging tourists in August, they just muttered, amateurs. The news is broken. I've been Des Clarke. Goodbye!